Starting the Python blog now. This is the first of 2 talks. I will not give even the second one, but I totally encourage you to stick around. It will be more into details about the binding generator that we have, Shiboken. And also I will reference this in the middle so you can check the talk again. So embracing Python. I know we are in a Qt conference. Most of the stuff are related to C++. We have some QML in the middle, but since 2018, we have been playing around with Python and officially supporting it as our set of official bindings. So I just wanted to, if you cannot see me right now, and I have been working in the company for a couple of years now, mainly in the Qt for Python project. So that's why I have this love relationship with the project. At the moment, also I am leading all the teams in the company, but my main focus has been the Qt for Python project. Overall, what we would like to do now, since it's a more like applied or interactive talk, I would like to talk a little bit about the setup of what you will require to do and to have for starting playing around with all the examples. And we will go straight into examples of PySide and Shiboken. That's it. So the reason why we don't have long introductions is because if you're at least aware of PySide and the evolution of it, you are familiar that with all the past events that we have been doing, if you go to resources.q.io, you can find the 3 previous webinars that I have been giving, and also you have there the direct YouTube links. So for example, the first one is the introduction to the project, the second one to start an application from scratch, and the third one, it's about the interoperability about Python, between Python and C++. So the most important thing here is that you have that material, so I will not bore you with all these details. So regarding documentation, I know that you're familiar maybe with the link there, the general documentation, and also inside you can find everything related to Shiboken in general. I encourage you to go again to resources.q.io because there are a lot of other videos from previous conference, the Qt World Summits, and so on and so forth. But the good news, because I can foresee some questions already of people saying like, what about documentation? We need more tutorials. We are preparing many things regarding building instructions from source, how to debug some stuff in Python for submitting patches, for example, how to contribute by using Gerrit, also some tutorials of things that we assumed were basic and we left aside, but some people is demanding them already, like how do I interact with UI files, QRC files, how do I use Qt Creator, and so on and so forth. We have many other ideas at the moment. We are really open for suggestions in Qt Creator. If there is something that is not there that you would like to have regarding Qt for Python, I totally encourage you to go to the Qt Creator Jira system and start to open suggestions so we can see if we can do one of the things that you suggest. And as always, we are working in more tutorials and examples. So Qt for Python. So let's jump directly into what I'm talking now. The reason that I'm showing this old diagram is not because I like it, but because it's important to understand. So we have many components here in all the process that allow us to bring up what is Qt for Python, what is the PySide module. So as always, you know that we have this black box with these 3 items here surrounding Shiboken. That somehow we are extracting all the information through the Qt headers and generating some CPython code that we can compile to the PySide module. So this is important to understand and always keep in mind because of course you will be able to use Shiboken. And to use Shiboken, you need to be aware of tools like the type system that we have and how we interact with Clang and the Qt headers. So for the setup of the examples that we want to show now, first of all, you need to do pip install PySide 2. I don't know if we have people here that is completely new to the module, maybe some people using Qt from C++. We don't need the installer. We don't need to go to the website. We don't need to download anything. We don't need to specify anything. You just run this command in your Python environment, and there you have it. But this seems to be confusing for some people at some point regarding all the documentation that we have, that this is not the full Qt for Python project when you install it. So what does this command install? So what we have here is that we will install the Qt modules, of course, that you will be able to use with PySide or with Python. You have, we are shipping also the designer, the RCC and UIC tools. And these three things, these three tools are just wrapper around things that we have in Shiboken. So we are shipping them. We are including them in the Python wheel, in the Python wheels. So additionally to that, you get one Shiboken thing inside the wheels, which is the Python module Shiboken, when you can interact with many other things that are complementary, and there are some utils for PySide too. But what you are not getting is the Shiboken generator, also also known as the Shiboken executable, the binary that will do all the tasks of taking something, generating the C Python code, and compile it to the Python code. So why we are not including that? Easy, because of course we are working and focusing the development of PySide in the enclosed Python environment. So we have no idea what is going on in your system. We don't know where you have installed Clang, where you have installed, libICU, other Qt libraries, and so on and so forth. So since we cannot know, we are not providing this thing officially because it will not work out of the box. So you have two options here. You can install the Shiboken generator the simple way, which is you can still get the wheels from our official repositories, but then you will need to specify in your system and in your environment a few variables in there pointing to the Clang, for example, installation, to have the QMake with the same version of Qt regarding to that wheels, pointing, already used in your path, and the same with the library path, same thing. So you need to do many manual things. That's why we don't expose it via PyPy. So that's why you need to do this complicated install to get it. Or the other way, which is the hard way, but I don't know, you can judge by yourself, which is you set up your Clang, you have Qt in path, and you just build PySide. Of course, this is just running Python setup install. More information regarding how to get generated to work will be shared by Shari in the next talk. So if you're more interested in this process, stick around, but then you are able to choose which method you have. So yes, as I was saying, I mean, just stick around. That is a real case. There will be some reference to a real Qt library exposed thanks to Shiboken to Python. So I totally recommend it. So before jumping into all the code, I know that time to time we get questions all over the place regarding that. Hey, but can we use Qt Creator, or can I use this in another IDE? Are you supporting PyCharm, whatever? So yes, we have support in Qt Creator. And when I say support, don't start writing some angry questions or something. We can create new projects. We can execute new projects. We are still missing a couple of features there, like for example, if you automatically want to generate UI files or QRC files and so on and so forth. Or if you want, for example, yesterday in some talks, Tobias talk, I read some people asking like, can I install package via things that are still not there? So this is focused for the basic interaction of an IDE. So creating the project, starting the application, and trying to do some stuff. Since of course there is no terminal in Qt Creator, you will require by yourself to have everything installed in the environment that you are using. And for this, for example, we can just open Qt Creator. When you click on new, you have the Qt for Python applications there. For example, if I do want to use a UI file, I can put some name like amazing project. We can do some name, my widget. So this will create, I have some here, and since we have the language server protocol, I'm already noticed that we have an issue here with the files that we suggest, because this is not a good practice. So I need a second space there, and then the thing disappear. In the same way, since we're importing everything and we have the annotations, at some point, if you want to, I don't know, I just want to resize the widgets that I have here. I don't remember how was it. So it's resize. Okay, resize there. So you have the completion for those kind of things. And that will be it. I mean, at the moment, of course, if we show something here, we have, I don't know, let's put bottom there. And I don't know, just, the UI file. There we have the Python file. And the good thing about this is that you can configure the interpreter that you want to use. So for example, if I go to projects, you see here that this is automatically detecting what I have in the current directory, which is env. and the other things. So let's select this one. I don't want to pass any arguments or whatsoever. So here you can start and play around with your with your own thingy. So we didn't save the UI file, that's why we don't see the button, but yeah, so that's the window. So we have the support to reach that level of development. If you believe that we are missing some really crucial things, then let us know via some, I don't know, some suggestion, and we can improve Qt Creator. Then I save it now, and I have the useless button there. So you are able to use it. This PyProject thing is nothing else than the JSON file that will keep track of it. If you believe that we need more options here, again, suggestions, and we'll be really happy to start seeing if we can implement all those things. So of course, we know Qt Creator is not only the IDE out there. So there are plugins that are not official, but you still are really good for Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code. I have seen them by myself, and I have looked at them, and it's kind of not really nice to have a completion and some interaction with UIC or RCC, QRCC. No, RCC, QRC is the name of the file extension. There are also some plugins for working stuff with PyCharm. You can also use them with Spider. And of course, you can also still use it whatever you want to. If you have, for example, I personally, I don't use Qt Creator, not because I don't like it, because I don't know. I just learned to use VI, and then I kept using it. But of course, I have seen people using some strange plugins also for Emacs. So whatever you want there are plugins, even though they are not official, they have a really nice support. So this being said already, let's jump into some code, because I know that the number one question that everyone has when I show some code there is like, where can I get the examples? I prepare for you this URL. You can visit there. If you go to Qt VTS 2020, you see the slides that we are presenting. And if you do /code, you will able to see all the additional things that I will be showing now. You have a really detail with every single example that we will show today. So of course, if you go now, you will miss all the talk. So I hope you stick around and you can review it later. The slides also will be available afterwards. So without further ado, let's jump into some code. So here I will just set my terminal. I know the font maybe is a little bit small. So let's make it bigger. This is the same structure that you will see inside the repository, inside the URL. Is that I have already here an environment where I set up and install everything, and I build Qt by myself. So as you see, the code there is there, and I was just running Python setup install. So if we focus on the in the example, we will go through the different levels. So the small simple prototypes until a more complicated application. So the first one that we want to show is that how do you start doing things in Python? Of course, I really hope that you will be able to read this, but in any case, let's make it a little bigger. So as always, you need to, start all the import stuff, PySide, Qt widgets, import Q application, just to start your application. I don't know, some widgets. And then, the structure is application. And then we can, what's this? Don't worry about, I will not code every single example. It's just for starting. We'll exit. If you're not familiar with this, I did a typo there. Exit is a Python keyword, so we needed to something different to use the exit from our application. And for other people say like, he forgot the empty list there, it's not necessary to put the list there. So if we save this, you have your amazing empty widget there. Sorry for the warnings that you get. I'm doing some testing driver stuff. And if you want to do something a little bit more complicated, but a little bit, some imports there, you cannot see it properly because of the size. Usually this is the structure that we encourage. We have some, when you execute this script directly, you will have the initialization of your application, the widget, some resizing, and then some show. And we try to rely on people to overload the Qt classes and build the widget as they want. The main idea of this is that this widget, of course, will need to require to inherit from a Qt type. And then you need to call the constructors of that specific type, of course. And after that, the floor is yours, and then you start play around. For example, here we are defining a button. Then we have a label that starts at 0. We are connecting the button with the function randomize, and here I was missing a slot. So yeah, core slot. It's important to decorate them. Maybe one of you are some people are already thinking like, yeah, but if I don't put it, it works in any case. Yeah, I know it works, but what we're doing with the decorator here is to telling when we are starting to register all the objects to the meta system, is that we are registering the slots in a certain order. So before other things that we can collide, maybe for names and stuff like that. So that's why we encourage people to use the slot decorator there. So simple thing, button label, we connect it with this function. We create a layout, we add the two things, and that's it. So this is no black magic or whatsoever. This is simple Python code. You see there, we are getting some random numbers on the left. So if this is not enough to prototype something, and I say that I have no idea what it is if it's not. I mean, I have been coding in Qt and C++ for many years too, and even though I have my snippets and everything ready to set up new applications, I find that this is really an amazing way of bringing new people to Qt, so they can start playing around with it. Okay, so this is the first example. I don't want to spend much more time here. So let's jump into the other one. So this is defining the content of the widget by hand, right? But we saw already that we can do it as with Qt Creator with the same thing with a UI file, right? So if we open this thing, I will not I'm a designer now, but it's a simple widget. So the idea of this is that you will have two ways of interacting with the UI file. And I have here two mains, so you can make a differentiation. The first one is that we transform this into a Python file. So if you see, for example, inside a Python file, you will see all the description. This is automatically generated for the interface that we have. Don't worry about reading. It's just typical stuff there. And then let's review the first way of interacting with it. So here you have same kind of structure that we had before, but inside the method, we have two little things. So first of all, we are importing the widget class that we generated. We're instantiating that form into a class attribute called UI, and we are doing the setup UI, passing their own class. So that's why we get the same thing that we designed. Then I know, because I changed the name of the UI file, that there are some couple of buttons there, add, remove, and clear. And we have some stuff that, oops, I also here forgot the slots. Don't worry about it. And we have some methods. That's it. And we are ready to go. And then you have this really sophisticated application where you can add some random numbers and then, I don't know, select this one and remove it and even clear and whatever. So here, we didn't see anything about the design. So you can, as always, use the UI and start playing with it. I prefer this way. I want it because I have control of the generated Python file. But however, I know that there are some people that say, you know what, I don't like that. I just want to load everything dynamical. You can do that too. So in this case, we're just instantiating the Q file. We are opening it, and we are using our class UI loader and just loading this file. So again, since I'm loading this file in this window variable, I know that there are some objects inside, so I can connect these functions and achieve the same thing that we use. So again, same idea that we had. Good. So now you know two ways of interacting with UI files. So the other thing, interacting with QRC files. So for this, we have here, I designed some really nice icons, and you can see them there, play, pause, stop, previous, forward. Same idea here, we need to run RCC, then give it the name, -o, and the file. And this will generate this. That is, of course, some kind of serialization of the objects that we have there, but this is not important right now. The important thing is that we can import it in the current application, also with an import, as you can see here. And then I'm just starting and creating some pix maps and icons so I can set and you are already looking at the structure of this, a media player that for the buttons has these really beautiful icons that I designed. So if I execute this, there you have it. It's beautiful icons designed there for your media application. And of course, you can connect whatever and do whatever you want. So if I don't connect this, I don't import, sorry, the file that we generated, we don't get the icons there. So you can play around with this. This is only one way of interacting with the QRC files, and that's it. For QML, I didn't prepare an example for QML. I know that also we have a couple of missing options there to how to register files in QML. Sorry, register types. So we are aware of this and we are working about that. So hopefully we can have everything set up soon. But in any case, this is a really simple example that we have in our directories about using material design and something that we have backend in Python. So for this also is in the URL that I gave you, that I will give you a 10, of course. It's a simple QML that only has some elements just to play around with it and the code. And please don't tell the QML developers that I am using here the context properties. This is a bad practice, but we need to update this example. But in any case, this is just to highlight that how we'll interact it until today with everything here. So we have here a special class with a couple of slots and everything. So it's kind of the backend that I was mentioning for the QML applications. So this is returning some codes and stuff that we are using with the user is selecting red, for example. We are returning that specific shape of red and so on and so forth. So QML interaction 2. Sorry for I am rushing at the moment, but it's for a good reason, because I'm saving the good examples to the end. So I just want to jump into all this Shiboken and C++ thing. Matplotlib. If you're familiar with Python, you know Matplotlib is kind of like the grandfather of all the new shiny plotting things. They do have support for different callbacks for different backends for Matplotlib. So they even provide one example to interact with Qt applications. And for that reason, I took that example and I started to modify it and provide a more shiny example that we were showing on the last World Summit. So as you can see here, I have a Matplotlib 3D plot there that is interacting with a Q widget and many things there. And of course, I'm making some Q widgets interacting with the plot itself. I am also changing some stuff there. So everything is possible. So you can connect Matplotlib applications, because we know sometimes people want to use features that are not at the moment in QCharts. So that's why we encourage our users to go and use Matplotlib for the things that they are trying to do. Okay, so this code is a little bit longer, but I will not show it completely now. You can go later on to the URL that I gave you, but it's the same structure. You can see here, again, same idea, some slots, and then I'm handling some options there for the data and everything. Pandas. If you were in the World Summit last year, you saw me that I show a really simple example of how to integrate pandas with it, with only this. This is not part of the official API. This is a class that I wrote by myself, but you can use it, of course, if you want it. It's again in this same link. That I really have the idea that we can start to get some contributions from people to interact with other Python modules. This is just an ad hoc class that can create a list view and the list model in based on the in a pandas data frame. So the idea will be to have reading the CSV, getting the data frame, and then start instantiating the Q data frame there. So this, what does this does? Python, there we have it. There's a table that is automatically generated with the data frames. We didn't specify the column names or whatsoever. So everything is there automatically, because why do we need to care about everything? Of course, if you have some specific columns, you will need to modify and everything and handle them differently. But I don't know, maybe there is a way that you can do it in a more smart way than the example that I am showing here. So I totally encourage you to look into this implementation. It's nothing else like a table model and view. Play around with it, maybe use it for your own projects and see if at some point you can contribute a really nice class in this. Okay, so we still have some minutes. So now the cool examples. because of course, since we released Kit for Python, everyone is playing around with Shiboken more than just building interfaces. So let's look at this small class, C++ class. Test class, receiving a name there, and then I have two functions. One this is called say hello, and the other one I am mimicking something that is a glob function from Python, which is just to list the files and directories recursively or not. So the idea will be to expose this module, this class, to Python. How do we do it? Well, pretty sure Sharon will show more details on this, but I just wanted to show you here. We have here the two data types that we are using. We have here the specific treatment for a vector. I know this looks complicated, but I did it on purpose because I wanted to show you how you can handle different conversion rules. So if you're using any other types in C++, you can expose it anyway using small subset of the CPython API. And then this whole thing is just a treatment for vectors, but everything else is out of the box. So once we have that, once we have that, we can build this. And of course I have here everything built because I am really, I don't have much time here, but you can see here the simple chat library. And this thing is the important thing, that it's of course linked to Shiboken and it's doing all the magic. So here I can start Python, and we know that it was called test class. So the module is called simple import test class. And then, you know, we are doing something, we receive a name, and then we are doing, you know, say hello. And then we have the same module, and the same with the other one that was listing some directories. So we say false, there was, but if we say change to true, and then we have all those things. So listing directories, of course, we are using C++, and in this case it's C++ 20, because we're using the standard file system. That of course is really simple to list some stuff. Good, so I have some minutes now, and I want to show the last but not least example. Scriptable application, everyone knows it. If you don't know it, it's an application written in C++ that embeds the Python interpreter, so you can do things inside regarding you know, interaction and running everything from it. So here we have it. So this is running. It's running Python, and here I can change by myself, like I don't know, main window, set style sheet, font size. I can do 30 pixels, and if I run this will change the whole, because of course the Python interpreter is interacting with it. But I modify it a bit. If you're familiar with this example, this is kind of new. And during the last webinar, I thought, what if we don't have plugin systems integrated to this? So I created something that, as you can see there are some plugins. You can see something called dark mode. It's nothing else than some configuration, some methods, and adding actions to the toolbar. And I implemented something simple to load all those plugins. So you can see them here. The two of them are enabled already, and you have really nice functions now. For example, the dark mode that we saw in the last webinar, and then you of course have some other zoom in and zoom out features. So this will set the basis for you to start playing around with Shiboken and PySide. Let's start bringing some C++ projects to Python. I am pretty sure the Python ecosystem can benefit a lot from all of you C++ developers. So let's start to think of new cool stuff that we can add there. As I said, next talk will be mainly about Shiboken, so please stick around if you want to learn more stuff about it. So let's go through the last things. There is a blog post that I wrote time ago about the technical vision for Qt6. If you're interested to see what will change, or if you have new ideas, check it out. As always, documentation and more information and material there. And we are currently focusing on continuing developing for 5.15 and Qt6. We are constantly improving the documentation. We know there are C++ snippets everywhere, but we are changing this thing by hand, so it takes time. We are adding more and more examples to the code base, so please be patient. We are listening to you in all the channels, and we are trying to bring up some tooling system. And last but not least, we also extended our commercial offering. So if you're part of the application development license, you will have maybe goodies on top of your Python, the usual Qt for Python PySide module. So please let us know what you need. There you have the bug reports Qt.io. And more importantly, since now we have the talk by Sharon, I will be listening to you in all these channels. If you want to join RC, go to the Qt Python Freenode, the Matrix channel, also Telegram and Gitter. So I know we are running out of time already because it's already 30. So for the people that want to stick around, I will start now with the Q&A. If not, I totally recommend you to go into Sharon Talks now. You have some time, go. Because there will be really cool things related to Shiboken. So that will be from my side. I will now stop sharing. So if you want to stick around, I don't know if Salah, if you want to say something about it, I think that I can stay here around to read some Q&A.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Cristián. So we've got around 10 to 15 minutes for some questions. I think we already have some questions ready.
Okay, cool. So I will just start with the Q&A, but encourage everyone to go there to the to the Sharon talk. So it would be cool. Okay, so first question, are there Python bindings officially supported for embedded systems? Yes, I mean, if you are using Raspbian, PySide 2 is there. If you're using Linux, ARM is there. We are not creating official wheels for Raspberry Pi or other embedded system, but it's something that we have been investigated a lot because we know people is using a lot of embedded systems. So please bear with us, and we are still working on that because we need to improve the cross-compilation thing. And someone, well, created only suggests empty Python Quigo. Plus, what about VM support? I showed already that we have support for virtual environments. Qt Creator automatically detects the virtual environments if you are inside the project directory. If you only have empty quick app, it's because something is wrong with the Qt Creator. I just show for 12 with the 4 or 3 options that we have there. So if you believe that some other templates need to be added, please, I mean, just file a bug report. How to connect C++ part of an existing application? Well, I showed this already kind of in the other example. So if you have some different use case of exposing the C++, or connecting the C++ with the Python itself, you can maybe open a suggestion in your Jira ticket, so we can maybe create a new example around Shiboken and how to connect the C++ part. Is there a difference from PyQt? Yes, licensed. PyQt has been around for many, many years. There is a different company developing PyQt, so that's called Riverbank, and they have bindings you can find in our wiki page, or the missing bindings that we don't have and they have. We have some modules that we believe that Python users don't need, but some people still want to use it. So PyQt has some of them. And so the license, we have, LGPL and commercial, sorry, and PyQt has GPL and commercial. And then you need a different license system for using PyQt. What is the status of the integration with Python with Qt Creator? Well, I show it live. You have there some templates. I pointed out what I was missing, so I guess that's so. Everyone was writing questions even before me saying stuff. Okay, when Qt 6 is released, how long will 5 version will be available? Until someone destroy the servers where the Python wheels are there. If we have, I don't know, some catastrophe and the PyP servers are shut down, then there will be no wheels there. But we will keep an eye on 5.15, and we will keep pushing some critical bugs for the 5.15 versions. And the same thing that we are doing now for 5.14, for example. But as always, this is so easy for us to do an upgrade in Python world that I really encourage people to jump into Qt 6 directly because of 2 main reasons. One, we will have many other bugs and features on top of Qt 6 version. And the second one is because we are deprecating, finally, Python 2. Because we have full of many things in our code that it has still some Python 2 caveats and issues and everything. So please don't use Python 2. Our movie studio does a ton of work with C++ and Python Qt. And we have hundreds, probably thousands of PySide UI even projects. We are considering driving into QML and using for large-scale desktop applications. Oh my God, sorry, it's a long question. But most users are not familiar with JavaScript. I would like to implement most of the logic of the combination of Python and C++, not JavaScript. Can you comment on the level of support of Python? Okay, so I show you here one example of interacting with QML. We have another tutorial that you can find in the website that is maybe later I will put after I finish this, the URL with the code examples. There is another way of registering types there. So I I think that is totally possible. But the problem is, since we are not really all QML experts, we really would like to have your use cases. So please, Mike, Jutan, if you can create or file some suggestions, maybe you can help us a lot to understand what is needed out there. What's your Windows manager? I use Xmonad because I want to suffer, and I love Haskell. And just notice example 2 that you load the UI file using QFile and QI loader. I haven't seen that method before. We always use UICSF. Is QFiler UI loader file recommended? No, as I said, it's not recommended. I don't recommend it myself. I prefer to have the generated Python file. But in any case, that example is documented in the official docs. So you can see there, and you go to the documentation, there is like using UI files. But I don't recommend it. I prefer to generate it. Hi, the extra integration method, no, registration method will be available for 5.12 or in Q6. I myself, I don't touch 5.12 anymore. When there is critical bugs, I try to go back to 5.12, but I will say that with confident that Q6 is the goal. Hello, what is better, PyQt? I cannot answer that. Of course, PySide 2 is better from my point of view, but maybe someone else is missing someone that is already in PyQt that they prefer. So maybe that's. Hi, Cristián, can you repost the URL? Yes, I will do. But in any case, let me just finish the Q&A. And if, one sec. So I don't know if I can maybe have here the chat. No, we didn't have the chat this time. But in any case, I will put it at the end of the Q&A. Qt for Python is available via LGPL. Yes, it's LGPL and commercial. Is there a way to add Python scripting feature inside a C++ program? Yes, as I show there, we had a text edit with Python code, and this was interacted directly with the C++ program. So Thierry Darinet, I recommend you to look into the scriptable application, or the link with all the examples would be. Can Python interpreter be embedded in C++ program? Yes, I show it live. What is the main target in these projects? It's Qt C++ developer to prototype fast application or Python developers who want to, that's a good thing. You don't need to pick one, you have two. If you read the technical visions, we are our offering is for Python developers to start building really nice applications, and also for C++ developer for connecting Python with the C++ applications, and also to quickly prototype. So we have two goals. Is the single dev support with Box and Windows Linux? I don't understand the question, but if it's support, it's cross-platform Mac, Windows, and Linux. What's the scheduled release for 5.15 and 6? We will follow Qt, just check the wiki page. We will follow what Qt is releasing. As far as I know, 19th of this month is 5.15, if it's not get delayed, and Qt 6 at the end of the year. How to use QML with Python? I cannot answer this question live because you saw one example, and better check the docs. Would you consider Python Qt as something for quick prototyping, for something that could be used in production? If you can, well, be careful with namings. Python Qt is another project, by the way. So if you're referring to what I was talking today, Qt for Python, it's of course it's ready for production performance. Well, what do you want to analyze for performance and memory consumption? You want to compare with C++? Well, I think that it makes no sense to compare Python with C++. And if you want something that is really performance critical, you can easily keep your C++ efficient implementation and just plug it in with whatever you want to have in Python. So let me just clear the clutter here. There are many questions. I have a number of custom widgets written in C++ with cotton appearance and behavior, but I would like to write the business logic in Python for another way. Which method to accomplish do you recommend? Well, if you have the custom widgets, you will need to expose each one of those widgets because after all, they are classes. You will need to expose those classes into Python. So in a nutshell, it's kind of what we do in the project itself. We have a ton of C++ custom widgets called QList widget, QLabel, QWidget, and we are exposing it to Python. So you will need to write in this type system, but for that, better to check the talk that already started for sharing. That will be it from my side. I think that we already had all the Q&A answer. These are the links, and let me just go here to the URL. Here is the link that you can visit all the code examples. So it's my family, Maureira-XYZ, cute BTS 2020 code. So you have some time now to write it. It's Maureira-XYZ, cute VTS 2020/code. And if not, just ask it in one of these channels and I will be there. So I can answer all your questions there. So yes, okay. So you can just drop by anything and that's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Cristián. We can also add the link to the recording link earlier. So if you go to the live page, where you'll see the tile that you joined this session through, when we have the online on-demand version available, we'll also add the link there.
Perfect.
But thank you, Cristián, for the informative session. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Please send us some feedback using the qt.io/thankyou survey page. You can also join the next live session via the live event page and also speak to our Qt professional services via the live chat on the event portal. Thanks again for joining and have a great day.